Before start this video, please subscribe my channel and click on bell icon. Thanks.
Love is an infamously risky business. In a world as hazardous and fantastical as Greek mythology, acquiring this ever-elusive sensation often comes with a certain amount of hazard and risk. Happy endings are few and far between, with many tales of romance ending with one or both lovers meeting an undesirable fate. That being said, some stories do end in love and happiness. Regardless, the power of love and all that comes with it are on full display in this list detailing the top 10 romances in Greek mythology. Related, top 10 failed seductions from Greek mythology. 10 Atalanta, Hippomenes, Atalanta and Hippomenes. The race for love. Greek mythology stories. See you in History. Atalanta was a heroine blessed by the goddess Artemis. With a myriad of accolades under her belt, love was the only thing she lacked. Pressured by her father, she agreed to find a suitor under the condition that he could best her in a race. Those who failed would be put to death. Hippomenes, infatuated with Atalanta, accepted her challenge and all its associated risk. Aware of her impressive skill, he sought the assistance of the goddess Aphrodite, who gifted him 3 golden apples. However, in Greek mythology, happy endings are few and far between. Hippomenes failed to pay his dues to Aphrodite, who punished him by forcing him to sleep with Atalanta in a sacred precinct. The tale of Hyacinthus is one such story symbolic of the jealousy and agony that can come with love. Hyacinthus was an extraordinarily handsome boy, so much so that he attracted the attention of the god Apollo. The two would often spend time together, strengthening their bond. However, the boy's beauty also attracted the affection of the wind god Zephyrus. Burdened with guilt and grief, Apollo grew flowers out of Hyacinthus's pooling blood, hoping the boy would live on in this form. It is also said that upon the leaves of these flowers were inscribed a letter representing the boy's woeful cries as he was separated from his lover. Today we call these flowers hyacinths, and in that way, you could say the boy's soul and love truly did live on forever. Odysseus was one of the most prolific adventurers in Greek mythology, and thus was a hard man to keep at home. Whenever approached, she would state that she was manufacturing a shroud for her father-in-law and that their proposals could only be addressed once she had completed this task. During the day, she would work on this shroud, only to undo the work she had done at night. Upon his return, Odysseus slew all of Penelope's pursuers for daring to advance on his wife and thus brought an end to Penelope's days of sorrow and tedium. It is truly a tale of loyalty and the lengths people are willing to go to protect their marriage. Her beauty was so ethereal that the people around her began to worship her as if she were a goddess. This earned her the ire of Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty who, in her jealousy, enlisted Eros to curse Psyche to fall in love with only the most hideous of partners. Still burning with love for Psyche, Eros assisted her in her tasks. Upon completing Aphrodite's labors, Psyche was granted immortality and welcomed by all the gods, including Aphrodite. She was reunited with her lover Eros, and they were wed in a ceremony attended by all the Olympian gods. Such hubris would not go unpunished, and Zeus set out to ensure they would never utter such disrespect again. One day Ceres and Halcyone embarked on a voyage across the sea. However, on rare but notable occasions, the gods can be found blessing the mortals that worship them and manifesting their dreams into reality. Such was the case with Pygmalion and his statue. Upon its completion, he became completely enamored with his ivory maiden. Pygmalion would spend his days fixated on the statue and even caress his creation affectionately. Aphrodite, acknowledging his devotion, decided to grant him his desires. Pygmalion returned from the festival and embraced his masterpiece, finding that the goddess had breathed life into the ivory and turned it into flesh. Aphrodite was enamored by the youth and sought to make him her lover. Adonis reciprocated these feelings, but his enchanting visage also made him the desire of the goddess of the underworld, Persephone. Adonis would spend a third of the year with Persephone in the underworld and another with Aphrodite in Olympus. For the remainder of the year, he could spend however he wished. However, Adonis truly did love Aphrodite, and he also chose to spend the remaining third of the year with Aphrodite. Adonis would later die while hunting a boar. Naturally, this meant he would have to live on in the underworld. Still, his love for Aphrodite was so admirable that the gods allowed him to spend 6 months of the year in Olympus with Aphrodite. Her mother, Telethusa, prayed to the goddess Isis for guidance, and the goddess advised Telethusa to raise the girl as a boy in order to spare her life. The two loved each other deeply, but Ianthe was unaware of Iphis' true nature, and soon the time came for the two to be wed. Iphis was thrown into sorrow as the truth of her identity would be revealed, and their union would not be accepted. Thus the two were forced to meet in secret, often sharing late-night conversations from an opening in the wall that joined their adjacent houses. One day the pair agreed to rendezvous outside a nearby tomb. Convinced his lover had perished, Pyramus was overcome with sorrow and ended his life under a mulberry tree. When Thisbe returned and witnessed the fate of Pyramus, she, too, ended her life in grief. So incredible was his skill, it even had the power to compel death itself. Eurydice was a beautiful nymph, and she and Orpheus fell deeply in love. The two would eventually wed, but their happiness was short-lived. Soon after their wedding, Eurydice was bitten by a serpent and perished, sinking into the depths of the underworld. Empowered by his grief, Orpheus wrote pieces so beautiful that they attracted the attention of even the god of the underworld, Hades. This was on the condition that Orpheus would not look back at his wife until they reached the overworld. His love had overcome death, but also proved to be his undoing. Overcome with desire, he looked back anyway, and Eurydice was torn away from him and dragged back to the underworld. Orpheus spent the rest of his days singing in the sorrow of his lost love. He truly loved her to hell and back. Thanks for watching. Credits to listverse.com. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.